What up, yo? Went to see Fantastic Four. Thought I'd come out of hibernation, tell you about it. First of all, I want to start positive. I think Marvel on the right track. I think they're finally starting to get the message about the things they're trying to put in their movies. Having said that, I think Sue Storm has more powers than she ever has in a movie. No spoilers there. That's fine. Make her a strong female lead. I think it's great. Nothing wrong with that. I know we've talked a lot about female leads, and I think where certain people go wrong is they think that men hate women and that any female character is a bad character. No, that's not true. Sue Storm is she's awesome. Sue Storm is a great character. There were moments in the film where she kind of took the reins of the family, and Mr. Fantastic was, I'm going to take the back seat. But the heart of the movie was Sue Storm, so it kind of fit with the narrative. And so it might surprise you to know that I thought that the character was spot on, and I didn't have a problem with the female lead because she was awesome. And that leads me to my next point. I think that this movie works in the way that other Fantastic Four movies kind of did it. The chemistry is off the charts. It is so good. And I think that if this chemistry was there for the early 2000s version of Fantastic Four with Chris Evans as Human Torch, Jessica Alba as Sue Storm, I think that that movie, with the chemistry of the new movie, it would have been the greatest superhero movie of all time. Because what I think that this new movie lacked was, I think it lacked like adventurous plot. It really was a safe plot, and it stuck to what they knew worked. Is they build up some new characters. They tell us about them. We have some laughs. We have some tense moments. And then the big bad guy appears. And then they figure out a way to beat the big bad guy. And, there's an almost moment. I don't want to be too spoiler heavy in this. There's an almost moment at the end where we almost have some tragedy. Oh, but the tragedy is averted. And that's kind of the same formula that Marvel has gone through for a lot of movies. So I think that's why I wouldn't give it like top grades. I think it's in the top 10 of the MCU. I'll say that. Top 10. I'll give it a top 10 vote. But it's not, it doesn't have like the creativity that some of the top tier movies had. I think that's a safe place to put it. That's not a knock on it. I think playing it safe is good sometimes. I think they really had to get Fantastic Four right. If they don't, you may not see Fantastic Four ever again, because getting it wrong a third time, that's not something that Hollywood's going to mess with for a while. But I think they got the formula right. The casting was spectacular. And I also think that the 1960s kind of feel, spot on, so good. And it makes sense. Like, for those of you that are like, but wait, it's not 1960, I don't understand. It's in another universe, which is why we haven't seen the Fantastic Four yet. And that's a good explanation. It's a good way to use the comic lore to explain. I think they'll do the same thing with X-Men, if I had to guess. They'll say that a lot of the X-Men have been hiding on other worlds, or we might see a solution to that when we get to Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. We might find out where those darn mutants have been hiding. But anyway, that's another video. All that to say, I think the aesthetic of the 1960s, man, it's so smart, because they have the technology of like present day, even futuristic. They got flying cars. They've got all kinds of flashy, shiny things in the movie. But then they go back and use a record player to record an alien message, which some of you might have missed. But man, I thought that was so clever, the way they intertwined previous technology to make it seem more modern. It was very, very, very cool, very cheeky. Pedro Pascal's mustache, I don't get it. Maybe he has another movie that he's got to keep his patented mustache for, but he shed that mustache for DC. He was Maxwell Lord. They didn't have a mustache on him then. Maybe they were going for making him look different, and that's why they let him keep the mustache. That could be. But seeing Mr. Fantastic with Pedro Pascal's mustache, it was kind of odd. It's kind of weird, but the movie had a lot of heart. Johnny Storm, really loved that they gave him some nuance in this movie. He wasn't just a jock, a meathead who's just trying to get girls. Like, I love that they gave him nuance. It would have been very tempting and easy to make a movie where, he's the stereotypical alpha male, and he needs to, tone back his toxic masculinity, but they chose not to do that. They chose to say, look, here's a guy who's, he's a little bit of a hothead, no pun intended, but at the same time, he has the same drive that the other three do. So I thought that was awesome. They gave him something to do toward the end, while Reed Richards is over here thinking his way through the problem. And the Thing is, thinking about what he's going to bash. And Sue Storm is diplomatically talking to Mole Man, which, by the way, Mole Man. Okay, Mole Man, that's fine. And then, Johnny had his moment where he was kind of the go-between between him and the Silver Surfer. Again, another strong female character that has ties to actual comics. A lot of people made a big fuss about her being female. I was skeptical at first, kind of like Norrin Radd. I like the original Silver Surfer, but it's been done. I wanted to do something new. It's fine. I don't have a problem with it. She did really well too. She was very ominous. She was very, very deep. So I thought the performance was good, as good as you can be in an all CGI situation. Then she did fine. But then that leaves me with Thing. They didn't. I don't think they said Thing the entire time, which was kind of weird. But they called him Ben. Even in like the hokey cartoons that they were showing, like the Fantastic Four were already established on this world for a long time, and so they had their own lunchboxes and cartoons and all the merchandise, and they just kept calling him Ben. So I don't know what the deal was with that. They didn't want to call him Thing, but that's a small gripe, I guess. But the guy who played Ben, he did a really good job. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good performance. The CGI was not over the top on Thing. There was a lot of practical effects, I thought, and they made him look like the OG Fantastic Four. They gave him the I'll call it the overbite of the eyebrow. That's kind of what it was. Giving him a beard halfway through the movie, light spoiler. That was kind of funny. Watching him try to shave it off was hilarious. But yeah, it was a good movie. Another tiny complaint as I wrap this up. What's the deal with the baby? Franklin Richards is in the movie, and he's one of the most powerful MCU characters. Okay. But the baby, like, he's born in the first act of the movie. They don't give us a time jump. But then when he gets to Earth, like, they get back to Earth from their mission, and all of a sudden he's like a 6-month-old baby. But they don't tell us that. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, there's a moment where they tell us that it's only like a few days later, or like a Like they said the whole trip took a month. That's what it was. And so if the whole trip took a month, he's less than a month old. And yet somehow he's doing 6-month-old baby stuff. I don't. Maybe I'm just looking into it too much, but it was kind of creepy. It was kind of weird the way this newborn baby was doing like big baby stuff. Anyway, so all in all, great movie. If you want to look for a good summer movie to go see, it's a good step in the right direction for the Marvel franchise. I think that they had to get it right, and they did. And hopefully they continue on this path, because I thought Thunderbolts was a lot better than people gave it credit for. And I think that's because people were gun shy about Marvel here in these last couple phases. But this might turn the ship around. This might get people back to the theater. Thunderbolts was good, I thought, and then this one was good. So a couple good movies in the right direction. And I think even Captain America 4 even was just a mess of a movie. They had to reshoot it a few times, but it had a lot of heart. So I don't know. I think Marvel's kind of turning it around in time for their big push with Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars. So that's my take. Take it or leave it. See ya.